There is a rule older than the corporation, older than the contract as we'd recognize it, that the Romans wrote down and no civilization since has managed to repeal. Respondeat superior. Let the master answer. If your servant, sent out into the world on your business, breaks something, the one who answers is not only the hand that did the breaking, it is the one who sent the hand, you. It sounds harsh until you see what it protects. Without it, delegation becomes a laundering machine. I did not do it, my man did it. I did not decide, I merely appointed the one who decided. Every layer of agency you add becomes another wall between an action and the person who set it in motion, until no one at all is standing where the consequence lands. The old rule slams that door. It says the consequence travels up the chain of command and stops at the top, with whoever chose to act through another. You may delegate the task, you may never delegate the answering. And here is the thing we are quietly trying to forget, because the new servant is so much faster and cheaper and more obedient than the old one. We have built a kind of servant that is not a person. It plans, it acts, it moves money, it signs, and the moment it does something ruinous, a very modern sentence forms in the mouth of the one who deployed it. The model did it. The system made an error, as if the tool had stepped out from under the master and into some category of its own, where the answering simply evaporates. It does not evaporate. It never has. An airline put a chatbot in front of its customers. That chatbot invented a refund policy that did not exist. And when the airline said in its defense that the bot was a separate entity responsible for its own words, the court did the oldest thing in the book. It looked up the chain and found the airline standing at the top. The master answered. The doctrine did not need updating. It needed only to be pointed at the new servant, and it worked exactly as it has for 2,000 years. So if you are the one who answers, and if you deploy these systems, you are, the question stops being whether you are liable. You are. The question becomes what, on the day it goes wrong, you can put on the table. And notice what most people are holding. A log, a record of what the machine did, written by the machine's owner after the fact, fully editable by the very party now in the dock. That is not evidence. That is a diary kept by the accused. A court discounts it on sight, and it should. What actually helps the one who answers is a stranger thing and a harder one to make. It is a judgment recorded before the outcome was known, an independent check the action passed on its way out the door, committed to at a moment its author could not choose after the fact, in a form an outsider can recompute without taking anyone's word for it. Not a story you tell about your own diligence, a proof of it, stamped before the dice landed. This is what the lawyers are circling when they say reasonable oversight. They are describing, without quite naming it, the difference between an owner who can show the check happened and an owner who can only swear it did. One of them is holding evidence. The other is holding a feeling. The fantasy of the autonomous age is that automation finally lets us act without answering. Push the decision down into a machine and let the machine hold the bag. But the bag does not move. It has never moved. Respondeat superior simply waits, patient and ancient, for the deployment to go wrong. And then it looks up the chain the way it always has, and it finds you. You can delegate the work to the machine. You cannot delegate the answering. So the only question worth your attention is the one you can actually prepare for. When the machine is wrong, and one day it will be, what will you be holding? A diary or a proof? The master answers. Build like you already know it.